I want to start with something I know you felt, but maybe haven't said out loud. You can accept where you are and still want more. You can miss your kids with your whole heart and love the quiet. You can be deeply grateful for your life and feel restless inside. If you've ever thought, why can't I just pick one feeling and stick with it? This episode is for you. Because the problem isn't that you're conflicted. The problem is that we were taught that only one thing is allowed to be true at a time. And that's just not how human beings work. Let's talk about why opposites can and do coexist, and why learning to hold both might be the most honest way to live this season of your life. Nothing has gone wrong if you feel two opposite things at once. That tension isn't confusion, it's growth happening in real time. Let's begin. Grief and gratitude often travel together. When my passed away, I expected grief to take over completely. I really tried to feel my emotions, and the two emotions I felt the most was grief and gratitude. Gratitude that I had a mom worth grieving. Gratitude for the years we had. Gratitude that love didn't disappear just because somebody does. Gratitude for all the texts and the messages and the notes and all the things that people did to support during that time. Grief and gratitude. I remember thinking, why do I feel thankful at a time like this? Then realizing because grief and gratitude are both responses to love. There's an article in the Express newspaper that talked about this exact thing, how big transitions stir mixed emotions. Not because something's wrong, but because something meaningful is changing. So here's the truth. If you love deeply, your emotions won't be tidy. Here's your take-home tip for this point. Instead of asking, why am I feeling this way? Try asking, what does this feeling prove I care about? Let grief show you love. Let gratitude soften the grief. Okay, next point. Missing your kids and loving the freedom can exist at the same time. There were days I missed my kids so much it physically hurt. And then there were moments, quiet dinners, slower mornings, no one needing me, where I felt relief. And immediately after that relief came guilt. The article in the Express called The Nest is Empty. Parents grapple with mixed emotions after the kids move out. It nailed this when it talked about how parents feeling torn between sadness and a sense of regained independence. Here's the truth I had to learn the hard way. Loving freedom doesn't mean you loved motherhood less. You're not betraying your past by enjoying your present. So here's your take-home tip. When guilt shows up, don't argue with it. Gently answer it. Say, I can miss what was and still appreciate what is. Then move on without explaining yourself. Okay, here's another opposite. God is big enough for grace and truth. We sometimes act like we have to choose. Either I can accept myself as I am, or I can try to grow. But God doesn't force that choice. Grace says you are already loved. Truth says you're still becoming. Both exist at the same time. That reminds me of something Peter Scazzaro teaches. I'm not sure how to say his last name, to be totally honest. But he says that our limitations aren't flaws to fix, they're invitations to listen. You don't grow by rejecting where you are. You grow by being honest about it. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's the starting point for real change. So here's your take-home tip. Try this prayer or journal line this week. Help me stay present where I am without getting stuck here. No rushing, no shaming, just honesty, and just journal what that brings up. Okay, here's the next point of opposites. You are capable and limited, and that's not a problem. Life can be heavy and hopeful at the same time. Last year, everything seemed to happen all at once for me. My mom passed away, I became an empty nester, and I became certified to become a life coach. Loss, transition, and growth all in the same season. When I sat down to choose my word for the year, I started journaling the months, and I noticed something about myself. I was trying to only write down positive words, positive things for my word for the year. And I didn't write down any of the hard words. I didn't want to see the grief, the sadness, the overwhelm, or uncertainty on the page. I wanted the list to look clean and positive, put together as I thought about my word for the next year. But when I looked back honestly, that year was filled with both things that broke my heart and things that lit me up. Deep sadness and quiet excitement, tears and new confidence, letting go and becoming somebody new. And that's when it hit me. Nothing has gone wrong. This wasn't failure or confusion. This was a life being fully lived. We're taught to categorize seasons either as hard or good. But some of the most meaningful seasons don't fit neatly into either box. They stretch you in opposite directions at the same time. Growth often shows up dressed as contradiction. You can be grieving what you've lost and still feel proud of who you're becoming. The Express article pointed out something powerful. Life transitions force us to live more honestly with our capacity. That's when it clicked. My limits were obstacles. They were information. They showed me what actually mattered. So here's your take-home tip. For the next week, practice 2 truths at the same time without fixing either one. Here's some examples. Once a day, finish this sentence in your journal or out loud. Right now, I'm feeling blank and blank. Examples, I'm feeling sad and proud. I'm feeling tired and hopeful. I'm feeling lonely and curious about what's next. No explaining, no deciding which feeling is better, no turning it into a lesson. Just notice. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about telling the truth more completely. So when you allow both sides to exist, your nervous system relaxes. You stop arguing with yourself, and clarity shows up without being forced. If your life feels full of contradictions right now, that doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're standing in a real season of change. All right, here's the last opposite. You can be content and curious about what's next. I used to resist wanting more because I thought it meant I wasn't grateful enough. But curiosity isn't dissatisfaction. It's a sign you're still alive. In the Express article, it described this as a tension between stability and reinvention, wanting to honor what is while feeling drawn towards what could be. That's not ingratitude. It's growth whispering. Wanting more, here's the truth. Wanting more doesn't erase appreciation for what you have. So here's your take-home tip. Give yourself permission to hold a both list. Write 2 columns. What I appreciate right now, what I'm curious about next. You don't have to act on the second list yet. Just let it exist. All right. If you take nothing else for this episode, take this. You don't have to tear yourself in half to move forward. You can accept where you are and seek improvement. You can rest and reimagine. You can grieve and grow. Opposites don't mean you're stuck. They mean you're standing in a doorway. And this season, it's not asking you to choose one side. It's asking you to learn how to stand in the middle with compassion, honesty, and hope. You're not behind. You're becoming. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.
If this felt familiar, you're not alone. I created a short quiz, Who Am I, after the kids leave. It helps you name what actually is going on for you in this season and what you might need next. You'll find the link in the description. And if you want more conversations like this, you could subscribe. I'm here every week.